Sorry, it would help if I turned my mic on. So that it's 1 year of COVID, and still people are talking on mute. So apologies. That's how we started. But anyway, welcome to this live Q&A with regards to the census. If you don't know about the census, then where have you been? It is March the 21st on Sunday for Census Day. Now, this is the first time ever that the census includes questions about your gender identity and your sexual orientation, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But first, let's have a little look at the following video.
Of your love's like a warmth from the sun. This will be our year. Took a long time to come. Don't let go of my hand till the darkness is gone. This will be our year. Took a long time to come.
2021 is census year. The census builds a picture of your community. When you fill in yours, you help make decisions about services like local transport and healthcare.
Now we're there, and we've only just begun.
Census Day is the 21st of March. Look out for more information in the post.
This will be our year. Took a long time to come.
Hi, Adam. Good evening.
Hi, Steve. How are you? I'm really well, thanks. Thank you for inviting me along this evening. I'm very happy to be here.
No, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And yes, the sun is shining. It's been a lovely day. So spring is finally upon us.
Hasn't been here. It's been raining and grey in London.
Well, you see, you should have travelled up.
Send it down.
So before we get into the census, please introduce yourself. What's your part in the census?
Well, my role in the census, I'm a census engagement manager. I am based in Greenwich in Southeast London, part of the London D team. Every borough in England and Wales has a census engagement manager. We've been employed, we've been on the ground since the end of September last year, working with our local authorities and with researching and working with local organizations, faith groups, charities, all of the communities throughout our boroughs to make sure that people are aware of the census, the importance of the data that we collect as an organization, and how it can affect their lives and how important it is that they are counted. So we've been looking at the barriers that people may come across, whether they be to do with accessibility or with their fear of data security, passing over personal information, that sort of thing. So it's been where we've been working very, very hard, and we've just, as of this week, the field team have come on board. So there's about, I think it's about 5,000 of us now throughout the country, as of this week, ready to make the census happen this weekend, and the follow-up work we'll be doing right through to about the 9th of May when the enumeration stops.
Yeah, so I do want to get into the accessibility part, but just before we do, let's just talk about what the census is, because I'm quite conscious that it comes around every 10 years. So somebody watching this right now might have never taken part in the census. Or the census. Exactly, that someone could have filled in the census on their behalf when they were a child, obviously. So let's talk basics. What is it? Let's talk
basics. Okay, well, the census has been running for about 220 years now. So quite an historic piece of work. It happens every 10 years. It's only not happened once, and that was during World War II. But otherwise, come rain or shine, every 10 years, census happens. And like you said, if you were a child in a household, your mother, your father, your parents, grandparents would have probably filled it in on your behalf. So basically, the census is a snapshot of our country at that particular time on a particular day. So this year it's this Sunday, May 21st, March 21st, not May 21st, March 21st. And that is the official census day. So the data that we collect at the ONS, the Office of National Statistics, very hard to get that one out, is there and used by local authorities, governments, charities, organizations, to basically shape the services that within our community. So it's used for housing, education, medical services, transport links, charities who are applying for grants or funding. So it's key data that is used by so many organizations and so many different departments to look at where people are, how they live. It looks at ethnicity, it looks at age, it looks at how you get to work, your long-term illnesses, it looks at your educational qualifications. It tries to cover and give a snapshot of who you are and how you wish to identify, which is really important. So ethnicity, religion, all those sort of things are captured by the census. Now, the information that we collect is anonymized, meaning that as soon as that information is fed into that computer, your personal details are removed from it, and they are held securely for over 100 years, in which at that point they are released into the public domain. So this year, the census information from 1921 will be released into the public domain. And that helps with things like genealogy, ancestry, all those departments that can use that information and look at your family history. So until that point, nobody, no government, HMRC, the Home Office, nobody can look get access to that data. And the ONS prides themselves on the fact they've never in the 220 year had a security breach regarding data. They spend a lot of money, a lot of time on very sophisticated systems to make sure that your information is held securely. So it means that anyone in this country, and they want every single person to participate in this, whether you are seeking asylum, whether you are applying for residency, whether you're here illegally. It covers so many of all the people in this country, so that we can see where these services are needed. And if we have this data, and that's what it's about data capture, to actually find out where these services are needed, or where funding is needed, or where we need to build a new school.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the what and the why. So let's talk about then the how. So let's talk about how it actually works. So I've got my letter, which came through the post, and I've kind of removed my details so nobody can try and fill it in on my behalf. And everyone should
have to sort of.
Yeah, they could try and guess and fill it in. Or you never know. Someone might fill it in on my behalf and give me this new career. So well, that's it. But that should have come through the post, so that should have landed on somebody's doorstep, and they should have already.
So basically,
sorry, I think we've got a bit of a delay. Wonderful technology. So the letter should have arrived on somebody's doorstep. So just talk us through what should happen once they've got that in their hands. What should somebody be doing?
Okay, so basically, from around about the 1st of March, from the 1st of March, the census website went live, and so did the support phone number. It's census.gov.uk. And there is a support phone number of 0800 141 2021. Now, the this letter should go to every single household in the country. Now, on that letter is a 16-digit unique access code, and this allows you to access the census form online. Now, this is the first time in the census history. Last census, there was a little bit of online access. This time, it's fully accessible online. And they're looking at figures of around about
Looks like we might have just lost access to Adam there. So hopefully we might just be able to get him back. He looks like he's just frozen in mid conversation there. I think what Adam was essentially saying is that you will receive your letter in the post. It's got the unique identifying number on there, and you head over to the website and you can fill that online. One of the key things probably to point out right now is that actually, if you don't have access to the internet, or you're unable to complete it online, or you need a different version of the census, you will be able to contact the information. And there's a phone number that does appear on the bottom of this letter that you can ring and ask for a form to fill out yourself. Now, what you can also do is you can also wait until the on-the-ground team are available. And I think we've got Adam back.
I apologize. I don't know what happened there. I was just waffling away, and the next thing you know, I wasn't here.
Not to worry,
everybody. So where did I get to in my?
I was filling the void for you. I was doing my best as a rep for census, and I was just explaining.
So basically, I'm sure you did us proud. So sorry about that's not happened before.
Don't worry. Honestly, it's 1 year since COVID. I think everybody's used to technical glitches. This is just like. I think what would be good to just pick up on now is we were just literally talking there around, you've got your letter, you've got your access code, you can get online, or you can ring to get a form, so you can fill it in a paper version. If you need to. I've got a paper version here as well.
Don't fill out
just talk us through if somebody is unable to do this. I'm quite conscious that it's quite lengthy, and it says that it should only take 10 minutes. But what if somebody's unable to do that on their own? Is there people available to support?
Absolutely. So on the support support line, which I mentioned before, and I know Fuzzy will probably put it in the chat, the 0800 number, you are able to ring up. And like I said, you can request a paper form if you need it in an easy read format or large print or in Braille. Those are available. If you need hearing support, that is available. There is accessibility available for languages, so you can, I think it's 52 languages, its translation is available. So what you're able to do is ring up, you get put through to the language line and book an appointment for them to help you fill it out on form. And any one of the people online can help you over the phone if you're filling it out either online or you're filling it out in a paper format. Each of the boroughs has census support centers. They vary from borough to borough throughout the country. Your local census engagement manager will be able to point you towards those. If you're unsure who your census engagement manager is for your area, you could actually ring the census, contact the census support center, and they'll be able to give you that information. But these support centers, some of them are able to offer face-to-face appointments, but it's all down to whether the building is being deemed safe and down to the COVID current lockdown restrictions. So it does vary from borough to borough and where the support centre has been set up. Mine, for example, are in the libraries in Greenwich, and as of next week, one of those is able to do face-to-face appointments by appointment only. And as of April 12th, a lot of the libraries will be open again, so we can offer a greater service there. But like I said, you do need to check with your local. If you're not sure, contact your local council. Well, they have been working very, very closely with the census, and they will have all those details available to you.
So we've talked about the 21st of March quite a bit being Census Day. Now, let's just clear something up, because people may have received that letter for a while now. It's okay if you've filled it in already.
Yeah, absolutely. March the 1st it opens, so you can have done it already. Absolutely.
But what there is this. I was going to say rumor, but it's not necessarily a rumor. It's true that this is legally required for all households to make sure that they've taken part. So what's kind of the process after the 21st of March?
Okay, it is a legal requirement, and that is stamped very clearly on the front of the envelope that you would have received with your household letter. It is required by law. As I said, how important the data is required. So basically, what happens after the 21st of March, within by the Tuesday the 23rd, because we are on we have got access online, we've already got data capture on who has and hasn't filled out their form. We have a household team, a community establishments team, and they have field officers who will, it's not an enforcement, it is, they will follow up, they will door knock to come and see whether you need help, because not everyone has access or may have received a letter, or they may be housebound and not know anything about the census. So what the team will do is work out whether you need any extra help with this, and they will signpost us to either give you a paper form, or they will signpost you to where we can get you help. So they will signpost it back to us, the census engagement manager. You can have, if you need help filling it out, you can have a trusted family member, a carer, a neighbor, someone who you trust to do that with you, then you're able to do that as well. So once we start that process, there will be a series of letters that will come out. If the household team can't get hold of you, the field team, there will be letters that will come out saying, we haven't heard from you. Are you having trouble filling this out? And then as we get into, April and later April, those letters will start to be more a case of, this is required by law, and there could be a fine imposed should you not be able, should you not do this. Now, the fines involved are rare, because what they want you to do is fill this out, and they want to help you with any barriers that you might have doing that. So there is a very long, what we call mopping up process after the actual census day, which goes through, and because of the COVID and the lockdown restrictions, they are saying, and this is a little bit movable at the moment, around about the 9th of May, that is when the EQ, or the electronic questionnaire, will come off the website, and the enumeration will sort of come to an end. So between that time, there is a lot of work by the field team. Like I said, there's around about 5,000 in the country who will go out and make sure people fill it out, and if there's an issue why they can't fill it out, well, like I said, we will try and overcome those barriers, whether they be accessibility, language, digital, poverty, whatever they might be. We're here to make sure that you understand the importance of, of you counting as a person. It's not just about, oh yeah, we're just going to do it to get the numbers. It's so, so important.
So to get into the detail of it being important, now obviously Northern Pride, we are an LGBTQ plus charity here in the Northeast, and obviously this year is the first year that the voluntary question around your sexual identity and gender identity and sexual orientation is being covered. So I've got a short video, so let's play that and then get into the detail regarding that.
21st is Census Day, and in the lead up to that day, each household will receive a letter inviting them to complete the census questionnaire online, or you can request a paper version. This year, the individual part of the census questionnaire includes voluntary questions around gender identity and sexual orientation. Answering these questions gives a clearer picture of the LGBTQ+ population in the UK. This data helps charities like Metro to demonstrate why our work is so important and how many people might need our services. So, if you are happy to confidentially share your gender identity and sexual orientation in answering these questions, that would really help. However, when completing the questionnaire together as a household, you might not feel comfortable sharing this information with other people in your home. So if you would prefer to answer the individual part of the census questionnaire in private, you can request your own unique access code to complete those sections online or on paper. If opting for paper, the individual code and questionnaire will be sent in blank envelopes. Any individual replies the ONS receives will supersede those replies received from whole household questionnaires. This ensures your own private responses are the ones counted. If you would like to request a unique access code to complete the individual part of the census in private, go to census.gov.uk or call the contact centre on 0800 141 20 21.
So that video was produced by Metro, a brilliant charity, and thanks to them for allowing us to share that with everyone this evening. So yes, so this is the first time in history. Why?
Absolutely. In the world. In the world.
Exactly. So why now?
There's been, well, you say why now, but it's been decades in coming. And as a member of the LGBT community, I'm passionate about the fact that people like Metro Charity and organizations such as yourself throughout the country were, there was a very long consultation process that has to go ahead for any change to the census form. So this hasn't just been a couple of years, this has been a long time coming. And then, so it's very exciting that finally the questions have been put into the census. They are both voluntary, but what we are doing and what we're hoping, and that's why I'm here speaking to you all today, is that people within the LGBTQ+ community do fill out those questions, because the data that we collect at the moment within our community, we have a data vacuum, if you like, on exactly how many trans people there are in this country, what their ethnicity are, where they live, all that granular data that this census picks up in completing these questions. And so for the first time ever in the world, in history, we will have in this country, and we're leading forward in this, we will have that data for the first time within 18 months maximum of this census being completed this year, which will be very exciting, which means that organizations such as Northern Pride and Metro and trans groups and non-binary groups and all the groups, subgroups within this country that are so important, that everybody counts, that everybody will count, and we will have data that we can use and that we can, it's a platform to build on and to move forward from. Is the census flawless? No, it's not. But it is, we do have, and after, like I said, a lot of consultation with these groups and with people, we do have a starting point for the first time in history in which to be counted and which to say we have a voice. Here we are, here are the numbers, this is who we are. Now, you know, we can stand up and we have that data. There are surveys that go around, but they're not secure. Whereas your information is secure, you can put down exactly and identify exactly how you want to identify, and nobody knows where you live, how you live, or anything. It is completely anonymized. So it's a safe, secure environment in which to actually inform the government that we are here we will have, you know, which is to me such an exciting prospect. You know, in 18 months' time, we're going to have this data, and it's going to be granular. It's not just going to be, oh, there's 120 trans people in the country. It's going to be, there are thousands, and they are from 27 different ethnic groups, and the age groups go from here to here. And if you think there are people, and I've been doing a lot of work, not just in London, but nationally with this campaign, with the ONS, that there are people in their 80s who've never identified or never even come out to their family, or even, and for the first time I had, you know, a lesbian couple who were like in their early 80s, who were like so excited that they feel that they can actually do this. And, you know, they're going to be counted as a, you know, as a lesbian couple, as, you know, or as a lesbian, and how they want to identify. And that for me is so exciting to think it's not just about young people. And, you know, part of this is, you know, if you're from 16 years onwards, if you're in a household and you're an 18-year-old young woman who doesn't really want her parents to know that she is a lesbian, or however she wants to identify, or whatever she wants to identify as, she can contact the census. She can get her own private access code and do it online. She can ring up and get her own paper copy if she doesn't have digital access, and that will come to her, as the video said in Metro, in a blank envelope. She can fill that out, and it will supersede anything that her parents, for example, may have put on that form. So she will count. So it's not just, am I doing this, but my dad and mum have already put down that X, Y, and Z. No, it supersedes it.
Which I think is incredibly important for the individual to feel as if they're being recognised, and like the campaign that LGBT groups are running at the moment, they're proud to be counted and proud to be to be included, and quite visibly included with regards to the census. So let's talk specifically on the questions now. Obviously, there has been a court ruling at the moment with regards to the guidance on the first question when it comes to your kind of more specifically gender or sex, as it is in the survey. So the first question is with regards to your sex: are you male or female? Now, the guidance has recently changed or been kind of rethought. Do you just want to share the specifics on that?
Well, at the moment, the way in which this gender identity is, it has to be referenced back to your birth.
Sorry, Adam, I think I might have just lost you on that very crucial.
Yeah, it's your birth certificate or your the guidelines at the moment from the ONS is your birth certificate or your GRC certificate is how you can identify regarding your gender.
And unfortunately, there's not at that point in the survey, there's not a category for our non-binary siblings to be able to select at that point. So I think unfortunately, what we have to do is almost look at the closest that individual feels best aligns to their identity. However, it does move on further in the survey to then get into gender identity specifically. Do you want to share us that question and what individuals can do at that point?
At that point, you can identify. There is a free-form box. So the idea is, as with the sexual orientation question, I know you're going to come on to that, but with both, there is a free-form box. So you can put down exactly how you wish to identify. And that's what's, for me, very exciting. And people, I've had these sort of discussions with groups and with various organizations where they've gone, oh, but you know, and I said, no, you put down how you identify, because all of that information is collated. So if 3 people put down a certain construct and they're the same, those 3 people are counted in that construct. So that is why the data is so important. It's granular. very, very granular, you know, and that information is used. I mean, that's what's so important, and that's why it's really key, and that's why I'm so keen. And we've been promoting this and working a lot with Metro, hence the video and the work that they've been doing, and across the London forums with the LGBT Roma and Gypsy traveller community, with all these communities to sort of go, this is why it's really, really important. You know, with a lot of communities, the Gypsy Roma traveller community, for example, have got videos out at the moment about why it's important you identify as Roma or Gypsy traveller. There's two very distinct, you know, groups, and that's why it's really important that you identify how you are, and that's why these questions, voluntary as they are, it's really important to put down how you identify, not how somebody sees you. And that's what I'm really about. That's why we've worked very hard with, and the ONS have been absolutely fantastic with their the media team and the way in which we've approached this, because they've listened to us. I'm from the community. They've come and they've listened to us and gone, I said, I want the trans community to be represented how they want to be represented by the people they want to represent them, not how an advertising agency sees them. And I think that's so important, because that's what happens a lot in these situations. Is it's, you know, oh, here you are, we're going to get a nice glossy advert, and etc. So they spend a lot of time researching this and coming back to and feeding back to us and listening to us as CEO managers and as employees for the census. They've listened to us and gone, okay, well, how can we do this? What do you think? Who are the groups, you know, who are the influencers? So they have spent a very detailed amount of time making sure they get this right. Because I said, I don't want to represent something that I don't believe in for my community, you know, a community that I'm part of, as I'm sure somebody who's in the Roma community or the, you know, Gypsy traveller community, or you know, even any of the faith groups, you know, it's really, really important that people have their, you know, from the community, have their voice. And that's why opportunities like this, and speaking with yourself, Steve, and your Northern Pride, and speaking with, you know, your followers and listeners and residents and people of our community, that they know that they have a voice in this, and we will be counted. This is not just waffle. It is historic what we are doing.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the straplines are around about making history and making sure that we're counted. And I think, you know, speaking from a Northern Pride perspective, this data is going to be incredibly important for us to help shape what we do. You know, we everybody knows us for our festival. You know, unfortunately, it hasn't taken place because of COVID. So subject, but moving on. But you know, we collect data at our surveys. At our event, we collect data at some of the smaller events, and you know, that tells us who's attended, what they're how they identify, whatever the case may be, and you know, how far they've travelled. Loads of rich data that we collect. However, we can't compare that to the society and the community that we're here to serve. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, square peg, round hole type situation. Yeah. Yes, we've got this data around who we are communicating with as a Northern Pride organization, but we don't know if that is a true representation of the community that we serve. And for me, that's incredibly important, because at the moment, we really need to understand the community that we're here to act on behalf of, and to serve, and who we need to look after. But right now, I could only tell you from our data, you know, how many people are bisexual, how many people identify as non-binary. It's not, in my opinion, it's not rich enough data to be able to help fuel our decision-making process.
No, I totally agree. And I think there is negativity surrounding this. I'm not going to bring it up now, but there is a lot of negativity from various quarters about collecting of this data, and people say, oh, you know, I sat in the London Forum. I presented on Monday evening to 18 of the London Forums, and we had the Met Police there and everything. And it's an incredible group of people and a group of forums. And one of the people in the forum said to me, oh, yes, but it's not going to be a true picture, is it, of our community, is it? Because we're not. And I said, well, it will be if everyone participates. I said, if you don't want to participate, then you decide that you don't want to let them know, again, voluntary, whether you're bisexual or how you want to identify gender-wise, then no, the information is going to be skewed, yeah? But it's going to be better information than we've ever had in the history of our community. That is for sure. That is a fact. So that's why it's really important for people to realize the importance of this. It's not just oh, I'm Adam, I'm gay, I'm just going to put it down. Oh, no, actually can't be bothered. I don't, but you know, what does it matter? It does matter. If everyone has that attitude, then nothing would change. You know, we've fought long and hard, you know, across the decades, you know, to get where we're at, and we've still got a long way to go. And it's about equality. And if we have that, and then we have a voice. I know we do have a voice, but we have a greater voice if they know the numbers of our community that exist.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the key, isn't it? It's data, it's statistics.
Yeah.
And you know, we've touched on our own surveys that we do after we've done events and such like, but you know, multiple charities and organizations all collect data quite regularly, but again, it's being able to compare and contrast that against this moment in time that you referenced earlier, you know, this snapshot of life within England and Wales on the 21st of March 2021. And you know, so in terms of this data, I know you touched on it before, but I think it's a very, very key point, and I just want to revisit it just for anybody watching, that when these household forms are filled in, a parent or guardian or kind of senior individual of the household could be filling this on behalf of 5, 6, however many other people live within the property. Individuals within our community may not be out. They may not be fully out in terms of their sexual orientation or gender identity, but they can override the household process. And I know you've touched on it, but please just remind us the process.
Absolutely. So as I said, you have to be 16 years or over. So if somebody has filled that form out on your behalf, so what we call the household form, so whether it's like you said, parents, guardians, care, whoever it is that has filled that form out and listed you however they wish to list you on that form, if you wish to identify in a certain way, you only have to contact the website, as I said, census.gov.uk, call the support phone number on 0800 141 2021. You can get the code texted to your phone and you can fill it out on the phone. And that form, as soon as you submit it, as soon as that form goes in, it will override your information that's been put on the original form. Okay? So, and that is the fact. That is, we've spent a lot of time, and that's why we put it in the Metro video, because it was really, really important for people to feel that even if they are out and their parents have put them down as, because that happens as well, as, you know, a straight male, whatever, that will over, you have got the power, so you're empowered to do this, and the power's there. It's not a difficult process. We've made it as simple as possible. So even if you don't have digital access, you can get that sent to your house, and it's in a plain envelope. that's not going to identify as the census form in any shape or form. So you have that.
And I think this is how we're making history, because we are given we're given the power to the individual to fill this in as they are. Nobody is telling them they can be this, they can be that. This is who you are. Tell us who you are, and tell us.
It's not just about the 2 voluntary questions about sexual orientation and gender identity. What that power gives you, or what that access gives you to get your own individual code. I mean, you could be living in a house where you don't, you secretly don't follow the religion or faith of that household, of that household, and you want to identify not about your sexuality, but you want to identify as an agnostic, or as as no religion on your form, whereas your parents or your guardians or whatever put you down as a particular faith. So I think that's what's really, really important as well. It's not just about, from our point of view as a community, it is about those 2 questions, but it is about that access code gives you complete freedom to be who you want to be. And I think that's really exciting.
Definitely, for sure.
And also from the age of 16. So it's not like you have to wait till you're 21. And it's like, from 16 onwards, you are allowed to do this.
We've literally just had that question put in our comment section there. Is the free form question on gender identity for only for over 16? Onwards.
Absolutely. As long as that's your date of birth, you are 16 as of, you can identify.
Brilliant, excellent. I've kind of wrapped up on all my questions that I wanted to ask. Can you just finish by telling us again just where people can get more information, the contact details? I'll flash them up on the screen as you're talking.
Sure. So basically the census website is census, all lowercase, .gov.uk. And that will guide you very easily to wherever you need to either access a paper copy, your own individual code, the questions you have regarding language, help with languages, different formats of accessibility that you might require. We also have a support phone number for those who don't have digital access of 0800 141 2021. And that also has if you like, a directory on there, so they can direct you to a language support, accessibility. They can help you fill out the form online if you're doing it at home and need that extra support. As I had said to you, there are within each boroughs, there are census support centres. Those details you can get from your local council. You can also request to find out who the Census Engagement Manager is for your borough through the census website. And basically, that's another way of accessing those census forms. We had, like I said, the field team are now in place. So if you do need, and you haven't received, I've had a few people that haven't received the forms that they've ordered online. I've got their address details, and the census team within 24 hours, the field team have turned up and handed them over, obviously safely, a paper copy. So that we have tried to make it as accessible as possible. And, it is difficult at the moment because we are in lockdown, especially with seniors, people who don't have digital access. I've got somebody on Saturday who has had a stroke. He's in the LGBT community. He lives on his own. His aunt and uncle look after, they go down once a week to see him. So they're going to fill the form out. So we've been able to get him a form in a paper format. It's at his house ready. And when his aunt and uncle get there, they're going to phone me and I'm going to run it through them question by question. So we are being very granular with our help, and whether it's doing group chats like this or doing forums and talking about the census and signposting people to where they can get help, whether it's answering those difficult questions that people might have regarding barriers that they're having unsure about completing it, why it's important, all those things. I hopefully have answered most of those today. If anyone has a question, Steve, you have my email address and you know that, and you've got Fozia, so you know that any questions that people have, or if they're having trouble accessing or finding out who their CEM is, both Fozia and myself can help with that. So if you have somebody who really wants to speak to somebody, their census engagement manager, I have a national list. That is a public domain. I can email that to you, and you will have access to everybody's phone number and email address throughout the country.
We do have another question has just come through. So before you leave,
yeah, I'm not rushing off.
We've just got this one here from Gillian. So it's just, how do I complete the question for my 15-year-old trans male son?
How do I complete the question? No, if she's completing on his behalf and she wants to identify him as a trans male, she can do that. It's only if the situation, Gillian, is only if you have somebody who is not out, or not out to their parents, or is unable to do that because of problems with, they're in a faith household and it's considered dangerous to do so. But as a woman who has a 15-year-old trans male son, absolutely identify him as such.
So I think, just for clarity then, and correct me if I'm wrong, with regards to the over 16 position, that would be if you're filling it in yourself. So yes. For example, a parent is filled in the household.
Oh no!
If you want to override it, then you need to.
This is to give those without a voice, and clearly Gillian has, and is happy to do that, and has her son has a voice, and she's happy to do that and proud to do that. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. If she has any issues with it, by all means, contact me. I'm here to help in any way I can. But like I said, it's only giving those that don't have a voice. In the case of Gillian, she's got a voice. She's filling it out on behalf of her son because she's legally allowed to, and she's happy to do that, and that's fantastic. But it's for those who don't have that voice, and I know this 16 thing is, there will be, possibly 15, 13, 12-year-olds that don't have that voice and can't do it.
Brilliant. Thank you.
And like I said, it's not flawless, like anything. It isn't flawless, but it gives us that starting point that we may need to adjust the questions, but at least we've got the data to do it next time and go, okay, we need another question in there, or we need this. Yeah. So that's what it's about. It gives us a discussion, a platform to move forward for the first time.
Yeah, and I think that's perfectly rounds it up nicely, because it
so gives us... we can't do this, because with all the Pride marches, and like Northern Pride, London Pride, we could have had these. There was all this incredible thing that we were going to do this big. That we could have this as yay. We've been able to do this year, and we can't in a physical format. So, having forums like this is, for me, so special. And I'm really honored to be asked, because this is so exciting to be able to have this opportunity to do that.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate all of the team's time. We've been working closely with Fozia, who's from our Gator team here in the Northeast. And I think Fozia is just, she's been in the background helping us. And I think she's just going to say a couple of words. So let's just bring her in on audio.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Steve and Adam. You've been really, really good, and really got the message out. And just to reiterate and add a few more words, I would just like to say, when you fill in the census questionnaire, it will prompt you a few times to actually fill it in. For the past year, obviously we're going through a pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, and it will prompt you that fill the questions in, answer them as your situation is now, and there are questions in there about your health, which are very important. And we've been sending out this message to everybody that people have been affected very much by mental health. So it's really important that you answer those questions, in the way you are feeling at the moment, how you have been feeling for the past year. And mental health is really, really big. So, this is going to impact our National Health Service and the funding that we get in our local areas. So do take, note of that. And also, many people are carers, and it asks when you normally talk to people, if you care for anybody, automatically people think it's all about a paid care work, but it's not. In the question it will say, just don't answer if it's paid, if it's paid employment. So if you care for somebody, unpaid care, do answer that question. Again, unpaid carers will get a lot of support, and again, it is going to impact on charities and our services that we get through our GP services and our NHS. So do fill the census in, and that's what I wanted to actually say. And it's really, really good. Just as Adam said, this is going to be granular data. It's going to be very rich data. It's the first time that we're capturing this data, and we are going to hopefully get the services in place for the LGBT community. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us there with that message. So yeah, listen, let me thank you both for joining me tonight and supporting me in the background, and the rest of the community and getting the message out. And just to kind of reiterate that there is the Proud to Be Counted campaign that's going online for the LGBTQ plus community. So please do check that out. Go on all of your social media, look for the hashtag Proud to Be Counted. If you want to show your support and show how you're proud to be counted in the census 2021, then feel free to add our Facebook frame to your profile picture. Just go onto Facebook, search for Northern Pride, or indeed search for Proud to Be Counted, and you can add that to your socials, and show that you have taken part in the census, and that you are proud to be counted. Again, I just want to say thank you very much to Adam for speaking so wonderfully throughout tonight, and for Fawzia for joining us, and for also helping in the background as well. All the information that you may need will be available via the website census.gov.uk, or again, just the telephone number in case you don't have access to the website is 0800 141 2021, and you'll be able to get all the information that you need, or indeed request that individual access code so you can make sure that your voice is heard during the census. That's everything that we've got time for tonight. Stay tuned to all of our social media. We'll be continuing to share information about the census right the way through till Sunday and beyond. So from me, again, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Fawzia, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Steve, for the opportunity. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Take care, everyone.
Pleasure. Take care. Good night.